Okay. Well, thank you, Anne, for making time to be here. Looks like the rest of the team is probably out with all the different responsibilities they are taking care of. So it's going to be a nice, intimate you and me session for today.
Yay!
But yeah, so I was just curious, and this is, since this is a recording, this is also for those who might be watching later on, just kind of curious how the previous, couple of weeks went with efforts to pause throughout the day and to recalibrate. Did you get a chance to do that? And if you did you notice anything when you did
Oh
it?
yeah, I try to do that just as a regular thing, and it's becoming easier to do that. The more that I'm, the more that I try to do it, the more I'm able to do it. Um, I definitely stop several times each day and try to just feel my where my hands are and feel my feet
Mm,
and just inquire what is going on in my body, and just sort of feel things with my senses and take a couple of deep breaths and ask myself, how am I feeling, emotionally? And also, I've been trying to, when I do sit to meditate, I've been trying to do the breathing in with calm and breathing out with ease, calm, ease. And I can feel myself relax every time I do that,
mhm.
which is great. And it's starting to feel kind of like a mantra, you know. So I think that's good progress for me. It's helped me being aware a few times a day of my body and my emotional state helps me kind of reconnect to a sense of calm
Mhm.
and forward movement, purpose, um, not frantic forward movement, but just measured.
Mhm.
And I find that to be really helpful in these days when I'm very overwhelmed with a lot of details that I'm trying to keep track of. That really helps me.
Thanks
So
for
yeah.
yeah, thanks for sharing all of that because I was going to ask you, what benefits you've noticed with doing all of that. And one quick question, what are some things that you've done to help remind you to pause and recenter? Is it more kind of spontaneous, or do you actually have something that is programmed to help you stop and pause?
Well, right now, the only thing that I have that I always do is I have a habit of when I get in the car and I'm driving to feel my hands on the steering wheel
Mhm.
and make sure my posture is straight so I'm not sitting at an angle or something like that, to just kind of like even myself out. And I usually do that a couple of times on each trip, like even if it's just across town.
Mhm.
And that I feel like helps me remember to be not irritated or not as irritated with other people on the road, which is a good thing. And um, so it's sort of intertwined with my habit of when I drive, I do this,
Mm, mhm,
But I haven't so far identified other places where I can work it into um, my process, I guess.
mhm,
Except for when, of course, when I'm meditating, I do it. And I try to meditate every day.
mm. Well, good for you. Yeah, thanks for sharing some tips. I think for me, my biggest the way what has helped me is setting my alarm randomly, and I try to change up the time so I'm not already pre-programmed to know when the alarm is going to go off.
Mhm.
And that for me has helped.
Yeah, I would like to try that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for this session, and for those who are watching, this is going to be our last session for this series of meditation. This was, our foundational piece, so to speak. And throughout the different weeks that we've been practicing, getting to know our breath, using the words calm and ease that Anne just referenced. We've also experimented with counting the breath. And by now, most of you should be familiar with, the breath in itself, like knowing when you're breathing in and knowing when you're breathing out. And today's session is more a sense of continuing with the breath as the primary anchor, but also starting to widen the experience of mindfulness by noticing the sensations in your body in a really direct and non-judgmental way. And so, quick question, since you're the only one here, Anne. The question is like, why might it be helpful to have an awareness of what's happening within the body?
Well, for myself, I can answer that. I can notice if I'm holding tension in one place or another, and I can release that tension, or I can interrogate myself about what is causing me to have that tension, and that is useful in unknotting habits that you might get into without realizing that you're in them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's helped me a lot in the past. So I try to continue to do that.
Yeah, thanks, Anne. Yeah, that's really a nice segue into why we are widening our awareness to include sensations, because often, we are fueled by physical sensations, right? So when we are feeling strapped for time and somebody comes along and wants your attention, I know for me, I feel like a constriction in the chest, right? Or sometimes there's a swell of energy that feels uncomfortable. And if I don't pay attention to that, it's easy for me to just become reactive and blame it on the person for wanting my attention. Or it could be like hunger sensations that are conditioned to arise at 1 p.m. just because the body is habituated to eating at that. But if once we start pausing and noticing, am I really hungry? Or is it just because it's 1 o'clock and the body is just automatically acting up? I can then choose to regulate my eating or decide, okay, I'm gonna wait a little because I'm really not that hungry, etc.
Yeah.
And then the other thing of the other benefit of noticing sensations is also that our bodies, like we are just wired to pull away from unpleasant sensations and to try to hold on to pleasant ones, which is why I love chocolate so much. When I'm grasping for my chocolate because I want to prolong the pleasant sensations, right?
Yeah. Either that or just eat more after you're finished, which is my problem.
Yeah, and just keep going on. But but with this training of the mind, I do find myself being able to say, okay, I don't need to keep eating my lovely chocolate. I can stop right now and not feel deprived. Yeah, so there's many reasons why getting, pausing and coming to know your sensations in the body can be so helpful with regards to having more intentionality and clarity with your response. And like you were saying, it's a way of freeing ourselves from old patterns of reactivity and to develop new ways of, responding. So we will explore this together. And I'm just going to invite you to settle into a comfortable position, whether you're sitting or lying down or standing, just as long as this position allows you to have some level of alertness and ease. So take a few full breaths on your own time. Yeah, letting an audible sigh out if that's helpful for you. And then allowing your breath to be in its natural rhythm. So take the first few moments to collect your attention with the breath. So meaning relaxing with the inflow and the outflow, knowing when you're breathing in, when you're breathing out. And just feeling the breath with a calm and clear attention. So knowing when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out. Now with your eyes still closed, if you've closed them, or if your eyes are open, you're invited to close them. Raise one hand up in front of you in the air and just begin to moving it slowly from side to side at a distance of about a foot. And as you do this, just feel the sensations from the inside out. Letting go of all ideas of what the hand looks like, just really allowing yourself to directly experience the energy, the aliveness, and tingly sensations, pressure, whatever, warmth, coolness. Just really directly experiencing the hand as you move back and forth for a distance of about a foot. As you're doing this, ask yourself if you can feel any boundary that lets you know where your hands begin and where it ends. When you're directly experiencing the hand in this way, is there any boundary that lets you know where one part of your hand begins and where it might end? Then slowly relax and let that hand gently rest down. And bring the same attention to your other hand, the one that's been resting on your lap. So bringing it up, moving it from side to side for a distance of about a foot. just sensing this feel of aliveness. You now you can gently put it back down in your lap and just continue to see if you can sense any sensations coming from your hands. Receiving these sensations just in terms of feeling them and sensing if there's any particular information that might be coming through. And if there's no information other than just a feeling of tingliness or aliveness, that is still information. That is also information. And now shift your attention to your feet. If you're seated cross-legged, see if you can stretch your leg out if that is available to you. If not, it's okay. You can just continue to sit as you are. And as you shift your attention to your feet, see if you can sense the same kind of dance of energy there. The parts of the leg or the feet that might be tingly, alive, parts that might have pressure or feel warmth and coolness. Also sense if you are able to determine where your feet begins and where it might end. And then slowly bring that awareness up to your legs. Again, sensing the aliveness and pressure or different sensations that might be coming up in the legs. And then slowly bringing that attention to your pelvis, your torso. Kind of like doing a body scan from the bottom up. Noticing your arms, your chest, neck, the head, the face. And notice what kind of, what kind of awareness you're bringing into this experience. Is it one of curiosity, or is it one of judgment? One of openness, or one of like fear or anxiety? So as far as possible, try to notice these sensations without any judgment, so just having a curiosity about it, not labeling any of the sensations, but just directly experiencing what's coming up. And as you move your attention up to your head, slowly bring your attention back to the primary anchor of the breath. And for the next few minutes, just following your regular breathing pattern, maintain this awareness of breathing in and out while allowing yourself to be aware of what is happening within you. So you're aware that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. And you're also starting to be aware of the sensations within you. And for this session is allowing your attention on the sensations without fixating on it, which means not running after it and not having any added narratives or commentary about it, and neither rejecting any of the sensation, but just the sense of equanimity, you know. And you're just simply noticing, you're curious, lightly touching the sensation and coming back to the breath. And also, if there are unpleasant sensations, allowing yourself to stay with it, noticing the sensations come and go without you doing anything about it. So notice how long these sensations last when you allow them to just come and go without you running after it with your mental commentary. And even if it's uncomfortable sensation, maybe an itch or something, just see if you can be with that itch or be with that sensation without immediately trying to alter it. And allow yourself to observe what happens when you're simply observing without changing anything. Now letting go of your meditation, letting go of your focus on the breath or sensations, and see if you can just expand your awareness to your surroundings. You're not necessarily focused on any one thing, neither the breath nor your sensations, but just having this sense of overall knowing that you're being knowing. Almost like as if you're outside of yourself looking at yourself. And if you notice any thoughts or sensations arising in this expanded awareness, just simply allow the feelings, sensations, and thoughts to arise and dissolve. And continue to rest with this expanded awareness of your surroundings. And we'll sit like this for the next couple of minutes. And then silently dedicate your practice that by you sitting here, getting to know your mind, that it would be of benefit not just for yourself, but for all people that you encounter, all beings that you encounter now and in the future. Thank you, Anne. And for the rest, who might be watching, this will be our last session as part of this series. I'm going to be out of town for the next 2 weeks. And when I'm back, the first week of May, we'll resume. And if you have some, requests on what to focus on, what you'd like to focus on, just feel free to email them to me. Otherwise, I'm going to figure out what our next series would be. It could be maybe a month on loving kindness, a month on, self-compassion. I'm not quite sure. But it'll be more about expanding our practice and yeah, learning how to be friends with our minds and our sensations. So for the next couple of weeks, maybe an invitation for all of you is to reflect on the impact that your practice have had on you, what changes you've noticed if you've been practicing it, during the times you've practiced it. If you're not regular, then just notice when you do practice, whether it's made a difference on the days that you've practiced versus when you have not practiced. And perhaps the invitation is to continue using the breath as an anchor, and if you can, to expand your awareness to include the sensations in the body, and ultimately, if you can, continue to expand that awareness, to include all the surrounding, all of your surroundings. And as I'm talking, I'm thinking, one of the things that we can do in future sessions is to, perhaps incorporate sounds and sensations as part of our practice, and just sitting with no object of focus. That would be, quite a good practice as well. So I think with that, thank you, thank you for, showing up all the time and being part of the series. And if you've got feedback for me, feel free to let me know. I love feedback. So I know how to do differently, do better, or continue doing what we're doing. All right, I'll see you when I get back.
Thank you.
Let me stop recording.